Salute Knicks family. Welcome to the Knicks Morning Vibe recap show. Not a lot to talk about. The Knicks did not play. They played two of their starters. They didn't play all of their rotation players. I it was about 1 second. Sorry about that. I take it that they wanted to get a look at the back end of the rotation. They wanted to give extended minutes to McBride and Sims and to see those guys. Tonight we play Washington at MSG, and I anticipate that it's going to be pretty much like a regular season game, a tune up to the season because they don't play again for another week, right? That's the first game is next week Wednesday. So, I can't really talk a lot about the flow of the game. I'll just talk to you quickly about what I've seen from individual players in last night's game. So, let's just start here with who started for us: Miles McBride, Dante DiVincenzo, Quentin Grimes, Jericho Sims, and Mitchell Robinson. Not a I don't really like that pairing, but they started last night for us. Brunson, Randall, Barrett, Hart, and Quickly were out. Boston played their starters, or one rendition of their starters. I think they do have some options, but last night they played Drew Holiday, Derek White at the guard, Jalen Brown, and Jason Tatum as at the forwards position, and Christoph Porzingis at the center position. Playing Jason Tatum at four, that's an advantage for them, at least on the offensive end. Particularly, I mean, he's a three, right? He could stretch the floor, he could put the ball on the basket, put the ball on the floor. We started Jericho Sims at four. So most nights, I think that's going to be an advantage for them. But let me just talk about the game. Like I said, it's not really a lot to talk about. Overall, I thought we competed, we played hard, we looked a little discombobulated, out of sorts on offense in the first half, but that's to be expected. Given the starting lineup, these guys haven't played extended minutes together, right? So I don't I didn't expect things to go smooth offensively or defensively, though I think it did get better as the game went along. They were able to cut the lead to 8 points in the third quarter. And I thought that was significant, and I think that just speaks to the type of players we have on our team. They're gritty, they fight hard, they stay in it. That's the message from Tom Thibodeau, from the starters down to the last guy on the bench. And you can see that that doesn't change no matter who's um, in the game. But let me get into individual players. Let me shout the chat out first. Ajay, David L, Jarrell, Jeff, appreciate you guys for joining me. I'm a little late this morning. But I still appreciate you all joining me. All right, I'm going to get into some individual players. I want to start with McBride. Oh, what do I still have Knicks win first preseason game? Okay, all right, that's all right. I'm a little off this morning. So as far as McBride is concerned, I've said it before. I like seeing him run the point. I think that if he's going to have a career in the NBA, you're going to have to be able to run a team. So that was good to see. His defense was good. He had what, 4 steals? He had 6 assists. He didn't shoot it particularly well, but he was aggressive offensively. The thing with me watching McBride is he reminds me a lot of Quickly, at least the early Quickly, in the sense of needing to get better or trying to figure out as a scorer, because McBride clearly sees himself as a scorer. When to look for my shot and when do I set up the offense? And for young point guards who can score the basketball or believe they can score the basketball, that's something they have to figure out. And it takes time. It took time for Quickly. And looked like he's backsliding a little bit in the preseason in terms of the balance between that. But that's kind of what I'm seeing from McBride. Times when he did set the offense up and was directing and telling, other players where they should be. And other times where he just came down and just aborted the offense and just, looked for his shot, but he will get better over time. He will get better over time. So I liked, overall what I saw in McBride. I think there's potential there. I know there's some that believe he is a shooting guard in a point guard's body, and there may be some truth to that. There may be some truth to that. I think it remains to be seen if he can work himself into being a scoring point guard, right? So we shall see. He pounds the ball a little too much for me, but DJ Shuttle, shout out to DJ Shuttle. We was texting back and forth during the game. He said he believes if he's ever in a game with Randall or RJ, he wouldn't do that, and that's probably true. So kudos to Grimes. Excuse me, McBride, seeing the development in his game. That Tibbs even trust him enough to start him at the point guard position. Because last season and the season before, whenever he was in the game, he played off the ball. So there's some trust there. The coaching staff must be seeing improvement in practice, in him running the team. So kudos to him. It was good to see McBride out there doing his thing. Grimes, 26 minutes, 22 points, 2 rebounds, 3 assists, a steal, 7 of 13 from the field, 7 of 12 from three. He was hot last night, and he was knocking down shots. Shot the leather off the ball, as they say. We've already seen that he's able to attack the closeouts, so that's I like that. As opposed to only being a 3-point shooter. If they get to you in time, the only thing you could do is pass it back to the top. No, he can attack the closeouts. He didn't have to do that last night, but we've seen him do it. So kudos for him. The defense was there. Um, I talk a lot about Grimes handling the ball, and I think I'm just going to give that up. I'm just going to give that up. From what I've seen last night, that's just not his game. I just don't think he handles the ball well enough against pressure to put him in that position. I think he knows it because he picks the ball up pretty early at time when he's pressured. And I think the coaching staff knows it. So I'm off that train of, you know, um, Grimes bringing the ball up the court equally between him and Brunson. Right now, he's a 3-and-D wing player that can defend the wing and attack the closeout, and that's okay for somebody with less than 2 years of NBA game experience. That's fine. That's fine for Grimes. So if he can continue to shoot the way he's been shooting, that's going to bode well for us. It's just being a little less streaky. We know he can shoot the ball, just being a little less streaky from game to game. But last night he was on fire, and I love what I saw from him. Let me check in with the chat before I get to our centers. If you don't know, I'm pretty high on our center tandem this season. But let me check in with the chat. David L. That was the Celtics' last preseason game. The Wiz, which is tonight, will be ours, and I believe we will play our starters. I'm pretty sure they'll all play, I would say, over 25 minutes. We shall see. Bright got to work on his shot selection, so he's more comfortable. Yeah, I agree. It'll come. It'll definitely come in time. Yes, Jeff. Mitchell Robinson with 3 steals. I'm about to get into that. And Dante DiVincenzo. But let me start with the centers. Mitchell Robinson in 20 minutes, 12 points, 7 rebounds, 3 steals. You're getting 3 steals from your center, and he averages, at least last season, he averaged almost a steal a game, point 0.9 a game. That's tremendous, from your center. And last night he had 3. Mitchell Robinson, what else can you say? He looks strong. He looks ready. I think he's going to have his best season yet. I'm pretty high on Mitchell Robinson this season. Not enough to draft him in my fantasy league with that 41% whatever free throw percentage. However, in the NBK league, we don't do percentages. So I might, if I have an opportunity, I might give Robinson a shot. But he looked good. He looked good last night. Hartenstein in 23 minutes, 13 points, 8 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, a three-pointer. He hit another three last night. Is that going to be part of his game this season? Did he get the green light from the coaching staff, from Tibbs, that if he's open, shoot the three? Now, obviously, you don't want him out there letting it fly, like every time he gets it. But if an opportunity presents itself and it's at a good, time in the shot clock and you're open and they swing it to you, why not? That definitely helps our offense, helps that second unit if he's able to do that. We've seen him in the preseason put the ball on the floor, take it to the basket. We've seen him duck into the post, into the middle of the key and ask for the ball. We'll see. He looks good to me. Let's see if what looks like an expanded offensive game. Let's just see if that continues. A lot of times in the preseason, you can kind of do some things that you're not going to have the opportunity to do in the regular season, right? Because in the regular season, you're back into your role, so sometimes you don't get the opportunity. So we'll see. At least we know that he has it, given this expanded opportunity, we see that he has it. So he looks good. He looks good. Um, DiVincenzo, 25 minutes, 15 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal. I think he's a work in progress. We've talked about this before. He's the only one in our rotation that didn't play on this team last season. So he has the biggest adjustment to make. He had 6 turnovers, but when you think about they weren't like he was just coming down throwing the ball out of bounds. He's looking to pass to his teammates and they're not used to him yet. So it was a lot of miscommunication on those turnovers. I think it was Sims or Mitchell Robinson, you know, dive into the rim. He tried to hit him. It went right out of bounds. I believe it was Sims. They're not used to him yet. They're not used to the fact that he's a willing passer, and you can even argue overpassing. Um, but once they get comfortable with each other, those will be assists. Those turnovers will be assists. So, we from what I've seen, he can shoot the ball. He can handle the ball some. I'm gonna get into our ball handling though. I'm gonna get into our ball handling a little bit. He can handle the ball some. He can shoot. He's a hustle player, and he looks to share the ball. He looks to pass. He looks to play the right way, as Larry Brown would say, and some other coaches. So he's a work in progress. I'm not down on him. It's just going to take DiVincenzo some time. Jericho Sims, 32 minutes, 2 points, 10 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal, 3 blocks. Jericho Sims looked really good on the defensive end, very active. I like his pairing with Hartenstein. You know, he could play the 4 defensively and play the 5 offensively. But I like his pairing with Hartenstein. The thing with Sims is that you're just not getting any offense with him. And I know we've seen him in the preseason with Mitchell Robinson, but that's just not a pairing that I like particularly. Let me know what you guys think about Mitchell Robinson and Sims. But Sims and Hartenstein, I like it. I mean, if we can get away with it, um, I like it. I think Sims is situational. I don't think he's gonna crack the rotation. I think the only difference in the rotation is Obi's out and DiVincenzo is in. I would be shocked if this rotation was 10. I would be shocked. All right, that's my take on Sims. Isaiah Roby, 16 minutes, 11 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist. He was 3 of 4 from the 3-point line. He looked good in his limited minutes. He shot the ball well. He has good vision. He drove to the basket. He dumped it off to Mitchell Robinson. What I like about that is, when you're someone who's trying to make a team, a lot of times you can force it, right? You drive into the basket. I'm just going to shoot this ball right here because you think scoring um, you know, it shows how well you've played. But the fact that he, went and he drove to the basket, he saw Mitchell Robinson, he dropped it off to Mitch for two. I like that. That tells me you're in the flow of the game. This is not just about this is not just about scoring points. This is about you playing the game and showing your full repertoire. So I like that about Roby. He won't be in the rotation. As much as a lot of us would like to see a backup four with some height and some rebounding and shooting ability. I think Josh Hart is cemented in that backup power forward spot for better or for worse. So I don't see Roby in the rotation, but I think he played well enough last night to make the team. Like from what I saw last night, I feel like, yeah, he's somebody I would like to have at the end of our bench. People at the end of the bench who can play. Now, in contrast, Archie Diacono, I hope I got that right. Like I don't quite understand the roster spot. I don't quite understand even the invitation to training camp. And maybe he had a bad game. Maybe you guys saw some things that I didn't see. Let me know. But I just feel like no. At the end of our bench, outside of our rotation players, our situational, like have two or three situational players that can actually come in the game and contribute, and then maybe have one or two developmental players who they're not ready, but you want them to be around the team. You want them to practice with the team. You want them to get a sense of what looking at film is like. This is what it's like to be on an NBA team. So we can have one or two of those. But you either have the ability to contribute or you're a prospect. And I just don't see that in Archie Diacono. I just don't see it. Um, but like I said, I could be off and he could have just had a bad game. But Roby, I would like to see him make the rotation. I think if he was pressed into duty, he can contribute. Fournier, Fournier doesn't make the rotation. He doesn't make the rotation. He's gotten more minutes in the preseason than I thought he would get. And I thought that he wouldn't even be situational, but I think he'll be situational. Last season, maybe. Last season when RJ Barrett was out, Fournier started for him. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe Tibbs might feel comfortable going with a three-man rotation. He started a three-guard rotation tonight. He could have easily started Fournier. He wanted to take a look at the three-guard rotation, McBride, Grimes, and DiVincenzo. So I think he'll be situational. I think, but I'm not sure. Um, Fournier is Fournier. We already know what he is. But well, let me just check in with the chat one more time, and then I want to talk about what was not so good um, for me. Shout out to Ron, still Nick fans. I appreciate you. What do you think about Grimes and his ancillary stats in the preseason? Keith Turner, Mitch, and Sims is nothing but a clone of each other. Yeah, I mean, in the sense that they're good rebounders. They don't shoot well. I think Sims moves his feet better on the perimeter. I think he's gotten better as a shot blocker, and Mitch is better on the offensive on the offensive boards. But I do hear you. Salute JJ. I appreciate you. David L. Third string. I believe he's talking about Evan Fournier. Does Deuce get those minutes over Fournier if RJ gets hurt? You know what I think happens? I think if Deuce does get those minutes, I think it's going to be like 5, 6, 7 minutes. Because remember, the other players that's in the rotation, our guards, their minutes to accommodate everybody, their minutes are like going to be around 25. If somebody goes out, I think Tibbs just increases those minutes and just go 8. I think they go 8. And if they do go 9, I think it's a token 9, 5 minutes. Um The Knicks should have signed Reggie Bullock, veterans minimum over signing Ryan, Archie Diacono, Jeremy Nussbaum. I appreciate you joining us. I agree with that in the sense that Reggie Bullock could help. The question is, would Reggie Bullock want to be on a team and be situational? Because I don't think he would be in the rotation either. So I don't have a problem with Reggie Bullock. Would he agree to that? Roby missed a point black. He can go. Oh, okay, so he missed a layup, but he had a nice assist to Mitchell Robinson, and he took 4 3-pointers and made 3 of them. But because he missed a layup, he can go. Um, DiVincenzo has 6 turnovers. Does he need to go? McBride didn't run the team, perfectly. As if you're talking about a point guard, should he go? It's the preseason. This is probably his first time getting extended minutes. Come on, man. We got to start giving guys a little break. A little break. Keith Turner, I'd rather start Hartenstein over Mitch. He opens up the offense more, and we're less stagnant. I mean, that's a fair point. I mean, I think defensively we won't be as good. I don't think it's a huge drop off, but it is a drop off defensively. Knicks are nice. Hey, Queen, I think you're right about starting another ball handler. So this is what I want to get in. Thank you, Knicks are nice. Knicks are nice. I appreciate you. So on the real, there's a few things on the real that I want to talk about. And one is everybody on this team is where they should be. Like Sims got extended minutes. McBride got extended minutes. Grimes, even though he's a starter, he got extended minutes. There was nothing in these extended minutes that made me think anybody on this team was miscast. That they got so much more to their game that they should be starting or playing more minutes than the person ahead of them. Everybody is right where they need to be. I love seeing McBride. I thought he played well. His defense was good. He had 6 assists. He had 4 steals. He didn't shoot well, but the shots that did go in, they looked really good, right? But he's where he needs to be in the rotation. Sims got extended minutes, 10 points, I think it was 3 steals, 3 block shots, or was it 3? I think it was 3 assists and 3 block. He looked phenomenal. He's where he needs to be in the rotation. He's not better than Mitch or Hartenstein. And Grimes is a 3 and D wing at this point with the ability to attack the closeout. That's just where he is. People like, oh, he needs to get, more opportunities to do this, to do. If you really watched Grimes in that game, he was spectacular shooting the ball, not so much handling the ball, right? And that's what I saw, not just with Grimes, with DiVincenzo, with McBride. All 3 of them seem to have trouble getting by a tough defender with the dribble. They just don't. Either they don't have the handle, the twitchiness, the handle to get around guys, or they don't have the speed. Those 3 guys. So if they're just bringing it up without pressure, handling the ball without pressure, they are fine. But Jaylen Brown was in the air, and they just kept turning around in the same spot. So as far as the ball handling on this team, McBride, DiVincenzo, Grimes, they're not it, particularly against pressure. And I think that's why now I got to take a step back in terms of me wanting these guys to handle the ball more. This is why the ball is in Brunson's hands all the time, bringing the ball up the court against pressure, because those guys, from what I've seen last night, and if you guys see something different, drop it in the chat. If you disagree, if you saw something different, definitely drop it in the chat. But when I saw them trying to bring the ball up the court against pressure, they seem to be struggling to me. So the lack of ball handlers against pressure defense, other than Quickly can get the ball up the court against pressure defense. Brunson, we've seen against Miami, can get the ball up against pressure defense. But I don't have a lot of trust in those other guys bringing the ball up the court against pressure defense, or even with the ball in their hand and them trying to create a shot off the dribble. I just don't think their handle is there right now. But again, if you guys see it differently, let me know. And I think that's all I have. That's all I have for today. I'm gonna check in with the chat one more time, and then we out of here. Let's see what the chat is saying. Yes, definitely hit that thumbs up. We have 65 in the chat. I appreciate you coming in. We got 22 likes. I just hit the like button or the add J button. Now it's 23. All right. So hit the like button. It helps the channel. All right. All right. Let's see. JJ DiVincenzo looked so shaky with the ball in his hands. Yep. David L. Sims was contesting a lot of Brown shots. Sims gets a lot of effort on defense. Absolutely. Jarrell, people saw Grimes working with Penny during the offseason and thought he was going to magically turn into him. I did think the ball handling would be a little better, but it is what it is. It is what it is. All right. Juan B, appreciate you joining us. Season starts next week. Teams not showing or knowing what they have yet. Going to be in the back of the pack coming out the gate. Ooh, are you saying, Juan, that we're going to be in the back of the pack coming out the gate? I hope not. I hope not. Kevin Went, Deuce is going to be backup point guard to IQ when Brunson is out. I have no problems. I have no problem with that at all. No problems with that at all. And as a matter of fact, in the offseason, that's something that I was looking forward to. Can Mcbride be the third point guard? If anything happens to Brunson and IQ and they move up in the rotation, who's the next point guard up? So I'm okay with Deuce being the next point guard up. And hopefully over time, he gets better like Quickly did and differentiating when should he go for his shot and when should he run the offense. He reminds me of Quickly a lot. Very confident in his shot. He could be shooting 20%. He gonna get his shots up and he's very confident in his shot. I'm not mad at him. But you got to figure out, when do you go for your shot? When do you set up the offense? He'll get better. Ajay. I don't read the comments sometimes before I put them up there. Roby missed a point blank layup, so he must go. RJ misses point blank layups every game. He must stay. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, sorry about that. Knicks are nice. Roby is on the team permanently. I hope so. I hope so. From your mouth to God's ears, as they say. I would like to see him. He's not going to be in the rotation. I don't even think he would be situational, right? I think if anything, if Mitch or Hartenstein can't go, it's going to be Sims. So Roby would be situational. But let's have super situational, I should say. But let's have super situational players that can contribute if they do get into the game. Tim Smith, appreciate you getting here late. I'll listen from the start later. Listen, I was late today myself. I appreciate you dropping by. Anthony D, what's up, Anthony? Appreciate you dropping by. Ron, yes, Steph, Grimes still needs to work on that stuff. He doesn't do enough for me, but I will take the points. So last night, let me see. Ron, what would you like to see? Let me get to Grimes. What was his ancillary stats, as Ron would like to say? I mean, I hear you. He had 2 rebounds, 3 assists, and a steal in 26 minutes. Maybe the rebounds up a little bit. I think What's giving me peace with this season coming up is seeing players for who they are and not who I want them to be. Like just bringing it for me personally, I'm just bringing it way down when it comes to Grimes. 3 and D, he can attack the closeout. We're not a championship contending team, in my opinion. This is fine. You know, same thing for Mitch. Mitch is who he is. He's going to rebound. He's going to score around the basket, and he's not going to hit free throws. That's just not Mitch. You know, RJ Barrett, he's going to go to the he's elite at getting to the rim. Hopefully he's better at finishing at the rim. He's going to get to the free throw line. Hopefully he increases his free throw percentage. I'm not looking for shooting from RJ Barrett. If it happens, it's like extra gravy on Thanksgiving. Like I'm not looking for that. And that's what's helping. That's what, excuse me. Oh my goodness. That's what's helping me um with the players on this team. Just not expecting too much from them. Um Ashley Inc. Wiz, I was late too because I need to recalibrate my West Coast sleep schedule. I woke up at 6 a.m., then fell back asleep. Understood. Understood. Pamela Willis, listed on Facebook. Appreciate you, sis. What up, sis? Grimes will improve another year. I think she's trying to say in the system. I agree. I agree. Yes. Yes. Some green tea with mixed with a little hibiscus and some ginger. Definitely. Right after the show. Anthony, how can you have peace already? The season hasn't started. I think peace in terms of my expectation of players. Because like I could get crazy. Grimes is still not handling the ball. Like Brunson has to bring the ball up by himself all the time. Come on, you're starting shooting. So I'm just like bringing it. I'm bringing it down. RJ, this is the 5th year. You still not shooting it. Like I'm just bringing it down. Like this is who these players are. Tibbs says it all the time. Play to your strengths. Play to your strengths. And so, yeah, that's where I'm at. That's the piece that I have with some of these players. Uh, Keith Walker, I appreciate you. I'm not sure. I don't know if this is my cousin Keith Walker from Georgia or is this someone else? But I appreciate you. Regardless, Geraldine MacGyver, I appreciate you. Sis, haven't seen you in a while. I don't think I've lowered my expectations of the team, but I think I'm just rocking with players where they are. That's all. With individual players where they are, as opposed to getting frustrated with them because they're not where I would like to see them be. That's all. That's all I mean. But my expectations of the team um, is the same. Anthony D said, "I sound like a beaten woman." Not yet. Not yet. I'm good. All right. Tonight we play the Washington Wizards at Madison Square Garden. I think we're going to see, like I said earlier, more of a regular rotation. I don't think we see Sim. Well, maybe in the fourth quarter, but I think those guys are the starters, the regular rotation guys are going to play over 25 minutes. And this is the last tune-up to our first game next week, Wednesday, against the Boston Celtics. So we'll see Brunson for extended minutes. Hart, I think, only played 7 minutes the entire preseason. He didn't play game 1 and game 3, and the game he did play, game 2, he played 7 minutes. Right? So we'll see him for extended minutes. RJ, Randall, Mitch and Hartenstein. We'll see them. We'll see the regular rotation tonight. As far as where you can find me this week, tomorrow I'll be back with the morning recap show of the Washington Wizards game. Tomorrow night, the Just Nick and It weekly show. We're in our weekly spot. For now, I think in January, the Knicks have a fair amount of games on Thursday. So in January, we may move to another night. But for now, we're Thursday, 9 p.m. Monday, 8:30 p.m. I'm back on the Queen's Court on the Nothing But Knicks channel. Be sure to check me out there. Follow me on Twitter at BKSteph33. I'm also at Facebook, Dope Soul Sports Talk. All of the shows also get broadcast to Facebook. So you can listen on YouTube. You can listen on Facebook as well. And don't forget the Just Nicking It podcast on Apple Podcast, on Spotify, on Google Podcasts, wherever you stream your podcast, the Just Nicking It podcast is there. Starting in the regular season, so starting next week, Wednesday, you'll have your choice of where you want to get the post game. So I will be doing a post game podcast. I'm going to try to do it right after the game, just 20 minutes, just 20 minutes or so. So if you like to listen and you're not into this visual interactive experience, you just want to get the takes and go, listen to me on the Just Nicking It podcast. I'll be doing a recap show. Now, it'll be some of the same points, but because it's right after the show, for the most part, it'll be right after the show. I wouldn't have an opportunity to sleep on it. So those are going to be hot takes, right after the game. In the morning, I get an opportunity to sleep on it, process a little bit. My takes may change a little bit. But if you want it hot, listen to the Just Nicking It podcast. If you like the interactive experience, interacting with the chat, the visual, the slides, the going back and forth, right here every morning after the Knicks play. I appreciate all of you. Thanks for watching. Jarrell, Pamela, Will. Yes, let's go Liberty. The Liberty play tonight. Hoping to tie it up at the Barclays Center. The Las Vegas Aces are without Chelsea Gray and Kia Stokes tonight. But, sometimes when they're without a player, other players step up, you let your guard down, and the next thing you know, you find yourself in a tight game. So let's go Liberty. You know what you need to do, and I'll be watching that live, and I'll catch the Knicks preseason game after the Liberty game on replay. Pamela Willis, Keith Turner, Jeff, Anthony D, Joe D. MacGyver, Kerry Cox, Kareem Grant, Ashley Inc., East Blue Drew, Keith Walker, Jerry B. Nussbaum, JJ, Uncle Fulio. I appreciate you. Yeah. Grimes definitely turned it on in that second half. David L, Keith Turner. Now, I may say some of you twice. I may miss somebody. Y'all know my condition. Knicks are nice. Still Knicks fans. I think I got it. Paris Doug, I appreciate you. Kevin Went. Keith Turner. I think I said Keith Turner, but I meant Tim Smith. All right. If I forgot anybody, my apologies. And if I said anybody twice, don't think you twice is nice. It's just my condition. You already know what it is. Until next time, family. Peace.
You tune in, that means you're feeling the vibe. The bell rung, you already been subscribed. Right now, the queen, she on live. Please pull over the whip, no phoning when you drive. Dope soul, sporting with the talk. First lady from New York, Brooklyn. All my people, you rocking with the chat. Hit that. That like button would tell me where you at. You know, Step from the NBK. Born and raised up NBK. Hey, real lady, where she holding it down. No matter way how you feel, she gon' greet you with a smile.
Sister, you one of a kind.
Yes.
Oh, sister, it's time you
That's
shine. Don't talk.
Where you at?
Don't talk.